Hello, everyone on the internet, and thanks for tuning in.
And welcome to another episode with me, Master Rider Bushido, and with my Toku Bros on the other side of this Flayvaman!
Shabba Dobi Touchi Henshin.
That's actually have to admit, that's one of the best you've done yet. Although,
Of course,
knowing
I
you,
do.
honestly, I thought you would have gone, please, please.
Flame, please. I should have done. Oh well, we've started now.
Yeah, well, do you think I'm actually not stopping the record? Because I like that one, actually. That was good. I have to admit, I salute you on that
Right,
one.
if you're editing this, you should probably tell people what we're reviewing,
And
even though
that, and
I,
that's basically the introduction to the belt for our episode today, which is Master Rider Wizard or Kamen Rider Wizard.
Master Rider. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Kamen Rider Wizard. Yay!
Right, and as per usual, let's start off with the build-up and towards Flayvaman. What and how did you find the build-up towards it?
I'm definitely going to say because for those few people who have been following us thus far, will know that I have not seen anything post Decade Up to Fours. So I can't remember what it was, but I remember like, oh, what's the following Kamen Rider going to be? And I just remember like the fact that it was going to be a magic theme. I think I remember there was a rumor going around that it was going to be like an artist theme, like with paintbrushes and stuff. That really caught my attention. So that on its own caught my attention. Like there was like it was either going to be magic, or it's going to be painting, or it's going to be art, or it's going to be a mixture of all the above. That caught my attention.
You mean
And
like a
when
paintbrush, like Shinkenja style?
no, like a sort of the villains from a Barry Ranger sort of painting style. Because I remember seeing all these different rumors, but I think the magic, like I remember hearing the magic rumors, and when when the rumors started getting closer to what it was going to be, I thought I was still interested. So when the whole reveal of Wizard came, and just seeing that jewel in his helmet, like the jewel face in his helmet, I think something about that made me then decide, you know what, even though I've stopped following from Decade, I'm going to pick it up again. I want to see where this goes. Because at that time, I think I'd just finished watching. It was either Kabuto or I was still struggling with Hibiki. So while I was still struggling with Hibiki, maybe that was when I decided I wanted to pick up on current Kamen Rider. So that so again going. So this is only going back about 2 years now. Again, just seeing it all, seeing all the reveals, seeing how sleek he looked, and just the whole build up, and the whole thing that he had four forms, just like, I will compare it to Deno, just like Deno had his four forms. I liked how they were just going to start off with the four forms from the off, and just seeing how, I don't know, maybe it's a bit of a childlike thing where, I was attracted to the colours, that grabbed my, everything I heard rumor wise grabbed my attention, and it made me want to follow where this story was even going to begin, let alone finish. How about yourself?
Honestly, in regards to build up, I barely knew anything at the time. I may have heard something about the paintbrush thing and whatnot and whatever. The only thing I have seen is maybe some screenshot or some fan art of Wizard or before Wizard
I saw
was
a lot
good.
of
But
at that time.
I was very skeptic as to what it was to come, and then once I saw episode one, I was just completely blown away of how simple the episode was and how enjoyable it was. So in regards to build up though, I barely remember any build up towards it. But
You were just
that's
paying attention, I guess. You were probably too busy like complaining about fours.
most likely, yeah, or O's, yeah, let's be fair.
Well, no, fours was before Wizard. Anyway, so all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go straight on to music of Kamen Rider Wizard. Right, I'm gonna let you start this because I'm just gonna go on.
Alright, so the opening track to Wizards Magic Magic is the Showtime, and I love it. I love it.
Golden Bomber, Life is Showtime. That was the opening.
You're right. Life is Showtime. Normally, we don't discuss about openings as such, except for that in Super Sentai. But for this benefit, yes, we may have touched it on Gaim, but I have to admit this was a very enjoyable opening. I loved it. It fit the theme. The intro actually within the show, how they made the video for the actual for the episode, sorry, for the show. It's good, and it just worked. I found it really enjoyable. I found it very catchy. I enjoyed it. I did not grow sick and tired of it, as per a lot of the or some of the Master Rider openings did. So actually, it was a nice change. It was a nice. I liked it. I liked it. Yeah, I have nothing to whine about much, really. If anything, maybe the official video to that music video, the PV.
Yeah, I've got the official video on my hard drive.
Maybe there's one part in it that he sings quietly. There's a part in it after the second verse.
Yeah, the bit you're talking about. It's bridge. It's in the musical terms, the bridge. But yeah, okay.
After the second verse, there's a part that he sings in a very quiet way, like you call it the bridge. Yeah, that part. If I could just take that part out, because I just didn't think it fit. But
back in the day, you're talking about the full song, which again you don't really hear that in Kamen Rider Wizard.
No, you don't. Thankfully, you don't. But in regards to the song in the show, so the pretty much just the first part, I like it. It's good, and I'll leave it at that.
I'm going to talk about music in general as well for Kamen Rider Wizard. I mean, all right, you're looking at the OP. I love how they got Golden Bomber to do the intro. I mean, they're like a big band in the visual kei scene in Japan, and they've got they've got a full discography behind them. And I was introduced to them through Kamen Rider Wizard, but then when I watch other J-pop shows, they did talk about Golden Bomber in their discography because there's another song. I think it's called Meshimuke or something. Well, I probably got the pronunciation of that totally wrong. But, I mean, having been introduced to Golden Bomber through Kamen Rider Wizard, I just went out and chased their discography, and they are a very good visual kei band. When it comes to the rest of the music, like BGM in Wizard, I like how, it's almost comparable to Magic Rain.
One second. So, what do you mean by the
background music?
Okay, so that's
like
BGM, right? But what was
the Phantoms, and just sort of like the dark touch that the music gives to the show in general. It's a very good soundtrack it has.
And the other one was
What?
Okay, before BGM, you mentioned another anagram.
That's the genre Golden Bomber's from.
Oh.
Yeah. But I will say it has a good soundtrack. It really adds ambience to Wizard, without a shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do we think of the story behind Wizard?
Dark. It was a nice dark tone. I actually loved it for a change. I actually liked the theme, the moods, the tone that they gave it, and it was that slight eerie feel that we haven't had that for a while, and not like your cheesy eerie, like your proper eerie gripe, like like a little chill in the air kind of thing. And I actually liked that. I was like, when's the last time we had this? Seriously, when was the last time we had this? And that's what I missed.
I mean, again, I think you're talking more about the motif of the Kamen Rider Wizard than the
Not just
story.
motif, not just motif. You mentioned about the story, and that's why.
Not started about the story, but go on.
Because the story as a whole, where it led to, yes, it took a bit of a time, but where it led to, I was just so flabbergasted as to where the story led to.
Well, I
That
mean, we can talk finale later, but I will say story-wise, I mean, it kind of, because one thing I know Kamen Rider for is how they keep everything so mysterious at the beginning, and then they just do this reveal after reveal. The only thing I'll say is I kind of felt like the whole story behind the Phantoms was too cloak and dagger.
How do you
Like,
mean?
right, so they're just villains, really. I mean, you know, I liked how you had the two beginning commanders, Phoenix and Medusa. I liked how the story behind Phoenix became unraveled, and he was like, was he the one that was the flower seller? I mean, because I know Gremlin, the later commander, he was obviously like the more sort of happy dappy hairdresser, if I remember correctly. But I liked how even though I liked how it was revealed, I just kind of felt that just overall it was too cloak and dagger. I mean, it did kind of pay off, I guess, but you really have to persevere with it. And when you're talking about motif, I kind of felt there was a lot of things that were done before, like the fact that he has to use his ring to access a person's inner conscious. That's kind of not too different from Deno. Again, Deno being the first Kamen Rider I watched, where Deno would use his time traveling card thing to go into the person's time past memory thing.
That's clever.
So,
Yeah.
that they were like it was ripping itself off in a way, but I kind of think when you're looking at, I mean, because Wizard himself, Haruto, he didn't get so much of a backstory as everyone else. I mean, all we really learn from his past is, he was there at the time of the eclipse. He found, White Mage gave him, I can't remember her name, brain freeze, the doll girl. Help me. What's her name?
Hiyori.
Who?
Hiyori.
Well, anyway, so doll girl. So I
Hiyori.
like Hiyori, yeah. Are you sure? Anyway.
Check it.
Yeah.
Check
So, alright, no, I'm not doing internet thing, that's your thing. Anyway, so I liked how, I kind of liked the whole thing behind her in her eventual reveal towards the end. And then in all the subsequent films and stuff, I felt they really dragged it on. But we can come to the films later. I liked how she had like the real big story reveal over time, but Haruto, bearing in mind he's the Kamen Rider, he could have had so much more put into it. I mean, they did touch on his childhood somewhat, and they did touch on his connection with the Beast, with his inner phantom. But I just felt there's so much more they could have done. And then when you look at the assists to the story, like you got the detective woman. You got that Pui Pui boy. I can't even remember anyone's.
That's
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why they tried to even incorporate a detective in this, but it didn't harm the story. But they could have done. I mean, it was still an alright story, but I think the main selling point of Kamen Rider was its motif, which we can go on to now.
Hang on, just before you touch on the motif though, if we're touching on main characters though and side assists and whatnot, whatever about the story as a whole, when you mentioned about Haruto, the main Kamen Rider, in regards to his story, in regards to you feel that they could have added a bit more to him. Me personally, if that were me, I'd fear if they gave him too much to deliver that this would be a whole different round and that they would have done too much. So to be honest, I prefer less is more.
Sure.
If that makes sense. And I guess I'd rather his interaction with the side characters as well. Like the Pui Pui boy, like, him being the teacher now towards him, for instance, or helping a detective. It's a nice different characteristics. So he has to be like a detective's assistant. He has to be a master towards this weirdo, or even like a big brother to a soulless doll, effectively. So I like that interaction, his characteristics. He molds himself to each other kind of way, if that makes sense. So yeah,
But where kind of already covered motif a fair bit, I will say like the motif, I liked. I mean, where they added, where they went from the basic four forms all the way up to infinity, they all looked spectacular on Wizard, in my opinion. I liked the weapons he had. Well, I guess I'm touching on other things now.
let's just keep it going. Keep it going.
Magic was its massive selling point. There were a few early comparisons to Magi Ranger, but I don't feel that the comparisons to Magi Ranger are fair. Because I know we talk about, we should do an episode based on the two Magics, but, I kind of think that Wizard really did well on its own.
What I'd say is, alright, first off, just to touch on the outfits, just to get that out of the way then, because you kindly tapped on that. I loved the default form as a whole.
Okay.
I loved its simplicity. I loved the fact that they added almost mainly black. I thought that was ballsy. I thought even like the trench coat style.
Riders also have capes as well. I think we're touching on so many subjects right now. But
good. Let's leave it like this, because this is the catch. Rather than making a cape, they made it a trench coat. That's why I loved it. I thought that was ballsy.
That was when they did the dragon forms, right? You're talking about. Flame dragon, water dragon. Because, I don't know, I wouldn't call the original 4 trench coats. I'd still call that like a cape, really.
It's a trench coat.
Whereas you look at you look at the dragon forms, those are trench coats, and then Infinity form just blew everything up, and then Infinity Drago or something, that was even more messed up. But I know they used that in Magic Land, but I don't remember them using it in the series, or they might have used it once. That's right at the end.
Okay, first off, he's wearing a black trench coat. In default.
Yeah, because it does kind of curve around his legs, I guess.
He does, that's what I'm on about. It's not a bloody...
But you look at the dragon form.
Yeah, fine, it's a coloured coat. Yes, I get it, it's a coloured coat. But my point is right, his default, and I'm just going to throw this out there now, I was actually told this through a friend who doesn't know much or nothing much about Master Rider or anything, and he tells me that Master Rider Wizard or Kamen Rider Wizard ended up in the top 10 of the best looking Japanese characters at the time.
That, apart from the fact being Kamen Rider, but sure.
Say again?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. He's got a look to him regardless as to whether it's a trench coat, cape, or a hat. But yeah.
Agreed. And also his default forms, I like the fact that it felt like it had a Kiva feel to it, that his mask change and chest change his color. Yeah. It had a Kiva feel to it. But the fact that, like you mentioned earlier, that it has his default 4 forms, so like fire, earth, wind, and water, and kept it at that and kept it true with some small assist magic, I like that. I liked it a lot. That he has his defaults, pretty much his default forms, and then his little assist rings as well, which I liked. It's nice and simple, rather than 4s having like 40 different switches or whatever. This is more subtle. I love that. I love that concept. And in regards to your comparison to Magi Ranger, yes, there is a lot to talk about in regards to comparison, but you can't really compare at the moment because this is more like ring magic, whereas they were one magic.
They were
You
like
know,
Harry Potter, really.
exactly, where they chant the spell, they say the spell, whereas, Master the Wizard would use a ring to activate that power itself.
I liked how his henshin belt. I liked how his henshin belt had manners. Flame, please.
Yes. And I love that sly
The ones
gimmick that,
are rude. The other ones are rude. They were like flame now. It's like, oh, all right then. Here you go.
no, I like that. Even there's one called Please. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? Anyway, no, but no, I like the belt. I like the belt. It's simple. It's clean. It's small. But not to a point that it's ridiculously small. It's like it's nothing as big and chunky as before. So I'm still going to compare it still, but it's nice and simple. I love it. And it's also the shape of a hand that's indicating you which way to touch hand like that, basically.
I
So
guess.
yeah, and then also you can just rotate the hand so it's pointing the other way as well. If your hand's coming from the other way to high five it effectively. So
Okay. I think we've covered motif and story a fair bit. But what do we think of? What do we think of?
the Arsenal,
The moral. I was going to say the moral of the story.
right? This is where I'm gonna the moral slash the motif slash of the story. This is where I'm gonna slightly touch differently on, because there's a side element to this that I've mentioned to you this before, that when we were talking about, no, I can't remember which show it was. Oh, that was it, Guy. I mentioned, you remember when Guy, we mentioned there was this whole fruits element thing to be all healthy and whatever. Well, in the previous series, which is Wizards that we are talking about now, he kept on eating donuts. I
remember we've talked about this before.
Yes. I read up that there was a high alert. Well, I say high alert, maybe that's a bit intense, but there was a lot of obesity complaints that he kept on eating nothing but, sugared donuts. So,
Of course, when I said moral of the story,
no, I'm just.
and like hope, the fact that it was all about hope and despair.
No, because it didn't fit in motif, it didn't fit in gimmick. That's why I was just throwing it there. That's all I'm saying. In regards to the moral, yes, I will agree. The hope, yes, it may have been a bit trying to be full on that hope thing, trying to do too much to aim for the hope. But saying that, I love the fact that he still, regardless, tried, even though he failed. And they actually showed that some of them that he failed, which I thought was rather dark and good for a change. I love that. I love that premise. The fact that you actually have a rider failing has balls.
It is. I mean, I will say, like, when it comes to hope and despair, I liked how they did it in the show. Like, there's nothing wrong with how they did it. I just kind of feel that it's a bit cliche. Like, it's done so often. Okay.
When you say hope and despair, it almost exactly sounds like a Sentai thing, whereas this one's like it's almost like an 18-year-old rated version from Sentai to Wizard.
I mean, I kind of get that.
Yeah. It's like, because you're saying that the main morale is hope and despair. Well, what's Sentai? A kid's form of hope and despair. Yeah. Whereas this is cranked up about maybe 12 years or something. Okay, that's maybe 12 years. But, Right. I'm also gonna tap on just to finish off your Arsenal side of things. I love his sword gun. I'll say that right off the bat. I love his sword gun. Um, the last time I actually loved a default weapon like that, like a sword gun, and the only other one I can think is Axels from Double. Those are my two favorite, like sword gun I can think really. Um, unless I can think of any other swords off the top of my head, I can't yet. But otherwise, and then Infinity had its own like axe swords thing, which I actually didn't mind.
No, I think I'd like more the fact that Infinity was shiny.
Yes, I liked that. I actually didn't. I didn't mind his like crystal form, effectively. Slash Infinity Crystal. What I didn't like that I liked Infinity Dragon because it's a nice crystallized dragon. I like that. That was good. That was sick. That was good. I liked it, but when they just completely dumped an entire ton of gold paint over him so Infinity Gold Dragon or Gold Infinity Dragon, no. That's when I have to, draw the line where I saw an image of Infinity Dragon glitter gold. No. That's when. No. But otherwise, yeah.
I think we are mixing up the topics, but
I'm not.
Also, when it comes to his arsenal, I really like the Drago timer. I thought it was really cool just having 4 of himself turn up. Well, 3 of himself, including 4 including himself. That was really awesome. And then when you talk about the whole final form thing, I mean, in the movies, he sort of cranks it up a bit more. I mean, Magic Land, he cranks up Infinity Dragon. In Cross Gaim, he also does. But again, I'll come to those later.
Right.
I mean, the generic weapons are all cool, but I think it was more about the different rings. I mean, yeah, the main rings that gave him his main powers, but they would throw in the funny rings and stuff. Like the ring, like, dress up, please. You can tell it's done for the kids, just all for comedy effect. And then you got and again, I know they did this in Hibiki, and they do it in a few Kamen Riders. Those little assistant animals, like you had like a squid, you had the traditional bird, and you had a gorilla as well, like a little purple gorilla. I liked it. I thought it was a nice touch.
In my opinion, I'll say this, that just when you mentioned about the Draco Timing, the only reason I didn't mention about the Draco Timing because I just didn't think that the item alone fit. I just didn't think it fit with this whole aesthetic because it was this big, chunky, I don't know what, like brick that he had to wear on his wrist. And it just looked too colourful. Too colourful. I just did not I liked that he summoned clones of himself in different forms. Yeah, fine. But I did not like the actual item itself, if that makes sense.
I thought okay. I can see where you're coming from, but I'll just say I liked it. Yeah.
I didn't mind, the whole factor that he brought, the rest of it's like Kage Bunshin meets I don't know what else. But sorry, I was gonna say Fies is Axel form, acceleration form, pretty much. And yeah, so it's just how can I say? I just didn't like. I just the Drago timer threw me off really. Just the appearance of it. That's why I couldn't give a tosh about it. Saying that, what did you make of the individual dragon modes that they uniquely through in different parts of a dragon's limb?
Well, I will say.
Okay, just whilst you're thinking on it, just for the viewer's benefit. So for Dragon Fire, you had a dragon's head coming off the chest. For the Wind one, you had dragon wings. For Dragon Ground, yellow one, you had claws, and for the Water Dragon, you had the tail. And otherwise, and each one had a coloured trench coat.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice touch. I'll move on to the characters in the team. I'm going to start this one for once. I'm going to say, like, I liked how Haruto was a bit sort of cool character, but at the same time it felt a little two-dimensional. But I think that was deliberate, in my opinion. When it comes to like the support characters, I mean, you got to remember that this was the first Kamen Rider with transvestite in it. I like the whole banter at the donut van. Then you got the detective. Yeah, she was the fan service without a doubt. And then you got Pui Pui Boy. I kind of thought it was quite comical. When it comes to what was his name? The guy who actually owns the antique shop. He was a bit kooky, and I like that. And then you've got whatever the name of that doll girl was. I think she wasn't supposed to have a character, which kind of added a dimension to it in itself. And just seeing the reveal of the story, I just thought, obviously we didn't touch on the story in full earlier, but when it comes to her story, I liked how her massive reveal, her climax to the climax to her story is something that's been done several times over in a single episode of Sentai. The whole, I want to save my daughter, the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many, when really, no, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, da-da-da-da-da. So, that's her character. And then, when it comes to, like, Phoenix, I loved his aggression. Medusa, I didn't quite understand, nor did I understand her twin. When it comes to Wise Man, just the whole reveal was what made the show, in my opinion. Gremlin, I loved his sort of Joker Batman style. He was very Joker from Batman. And,
Do you want to say Batman again?
The Batman.
How many times do you want to say that? Because I didn't know if you said Batman.
You're doing Toku, yeah? With the Gremlin, I also like their monster forms, especially Gremlins. So, Phoenix had a decent monster form. Medusa's was a bit weird, but I think it was meant to be. Wise Man, I don't know what was going on with Wise Man, to be fair. Gremlins had an awesome, you could almost compare it to, was it? Yeah, he was Gremlin, not Goblin, because I was
Gremlin. It is Gremlin. But did you think, actually, you know what? Let me start with my characters, and then I'll lead to the villains, and then I'll throw my comparison with you.
We'll show so far. Anyway, whether he was a Gremlin or a Goblin, he was green, and he was quite cool. And his character was cool, his monster form was cool, whether it was a green Goblin or a Goblin that was green, whatever.
Did Gremlin remind you, in his monster form, of Joker from Blade?
Yes. Alright, now I am going to move on. Again, we can
what about me?
What
about me?
Yeah, alright, go on then.
I'll be quick, alright? So anyway, in regards to the characters, the main characters and such, Haruto, I thought I liked him as is. I liked his slight, bland monotonous. I thought it was a nice change.
I felt it was two-dimensional, but I think it was deliberate, to be fair.
I actually liked it. I thought it was nice and different. I liked this banter that he had with everyone. I liked the donut shop, especially the fact that they tried to...
It must have been deliberate, plain sugar. I think that says it all, really.
No, but not just that, but the fact that... What if it's that he didn't have a soul because of his character, because of that first eclipse? But either way, I love the fact that the donut shop tries to sell him their new creation, and he just goes for a plain sugar and then just completely shatters the donut shop. I
That's
just,
my off, really, yeah.
I just love that. I love the fact that his way of helping or his style of helping the detectives. I honestly couldn't care less about his Pui Pui assistant or whatever. I couldn't give a tush about that. I love Hyori. I love the doll girl, as you call it, or soulless girl. I just loved it. I love when they also reveal her story, like halfway through the show. It's like, wait, what? You know, it grips you even more. Um, and I love that. I like the antique shop owner. He's cool. He's like the unofficial fatherly role, which I like.
I think he was the fatherly role, to be fair.
That is true. For the villains, I honestly don't remember Phoenix or Medusa as much. Gremlin, I do remember. I like him. Very young Joker-esque kind of a character. With Wise Man, I do remember very like cloak and dagger hidden in the shadows kind of thing. I like that. But when he turned into his monster form, though, I felt that it was a very Mewtwo meets Frieza from Dragon Ball Z kind of thing.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
And then I was like, what kind of a freaking form is this? But otherwise, I liked the character as a whole.
Alright, now I'm going to move on to something that's just going to blow my mind. Our additional rider, Kamen Rider Beast.
I'm starting this. I'm starting this. I'm starting this one. Because because I know you love it, so I'm going to be nice. Let me just say my piece, and then I'm going to drink my mocha shake afterwards and just slurp the crap out of it.
Right.
Right. Where to begin? Kamen Rider Beast. I personally did not like it at all. Yeah, this is where you and I, we had, anyway. One, his character is an archaeologist. Two, he found the belt. Great. Three, I'll be honest, I love the fact that he basically, it's like Ryuki when you make a pact slash bond with your, yeah. But in his case, he pretty much sold his soul to Chimera, so I like that.
Right.
That I didn't mind, but I did not like that character. I did not like his annoying mayo addiction. I did not like Beast Suit. I did not like the dice roll staff. I did not like his super form for the life of me. I couldn't give a tosh about it. I didn't like Beast Hyper. Beast Hyper.
Yeah, Beast Hyper. Yeah.
I couldn't give a crap about it. And with Chimera trying to look like a lion with like 4 other limbs, not even close to
an amalgamation of all his animals.
Exactly. I was like, wait, what? You got like a chameleon head from his ass. You've got a dolphin on one side. You got the wings of the falcon head on another side of him, and then you got it giving him wings. And I'm like, what? Oh, and a bull coming out of his chest. So I'm like, really? But either way, I did not like Beast. I just found he just didn't do it. He's like the red herring of the show. He's like the actor trying to be the clown, in my opinion. I did not like Beast. But that's just me. I did not like it one bit.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go completely the opposite direction to you. I'm going to say...
Yeah. Right, viewers, if you're watching this, enjoy your mocha shake.
Yeah. I will say, I liked his character. He was peppy, he was funny, he he'd make jokes at everyone's expense. When it comes to him being whatever he was, an archaeologist, I think you said architect, he's an archaeologist. I mean, it's a bit contradictory to his character and his age, etc. But I think he was just trying to be like a real young, hip version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of think, I like, I mean, what you're kind of missed out altogether is bearing in mind, Wizard was given his power by White Mage for his means, whereas Beast wasn't. He came across his doing his archaeology thing. So the fact that he got his by his own means, he was hated by everyone else. Everyone's like, oh, you using the old-fashioned system or something. So you're obsolete, you're irrelevant, you're not going to be able to do anything. The fact that they were just hating on him just because he was like that, when ironically he was the one that wasn't given his powers, he wasn't sort of he wasn't like souped in. That added dimension for me. And then, when it comes to the whole, I think it's like, the Chimera Beast is like, feed me or I'll eat you or something. That kind of, it's a bit childish, it's a bit funny, but
I like that.
I have appreciation for that. When it comes to his mayonnaise addiction, I mean, I hate to say it as an adult, but bearing in mind Kamen Rider is a kid's show. At the end of the day, when it comes to being a kid, LOL, kids will have addictions to things, and some kids will have really strange addictions. So the fact that you've got this character having an addiction to mayonnaise will probably associate to kids, and I could see that like having sort of mass appeal, like a sort of, and even for adults, it'd be like more of a comedy thing. So it wasn't the fact that he was addicted to mayonnaise, it's just the fact that he had a really obsessive addiction to something. He even uses this to an effect that he basically, he makes fun of Wizard, where it's like, it's showtime. He'd say it's lunchtime. I thought that was a very funny, childish play on that. And
if anything, I just go like that to that.
Make me laugh. I'll be honest, it used to make me laugh. And I kind of think, like even though his story wasn't as deep, it still kind of had a dimension to it. The fact that he was a homeless. Let's not forget he was a homeless man. He was still very peppy. I like that about him. And when you're alright, so now talking about Beast. The one thing that really irritated me is he's got his 4 forms, I think. 4, 3, 2, 4, however many forms he has.
Who?
Beast.
Dolphin.
I'm talking about.
Hang on, wait.
Yeah.
Dolphin, bull. What's it?
Buffalo,
Eagle, lion, and you've got
lion,
chameleon, dolphin, hawk, and bison.
Did you just know buffalo? You didn't.
Buffalo, bison. You know what I mean.
Right, he had a buffalo, lion, chameleon, dolphin. Those are his 4 forms.
Eagle.
Right.
The bird.
Yeah, I know what an eagle is. Right. Well, however many forms he had. The one thing that really irritated me is how they would call out, I think lion was the only exception. Lion, lion. You had they'd call it buffer, dolphy, and chameleon, I think it was. I didn't like the fact that they didn't, it's like, finish the word. So that really annoyed me, but I felt it was a bit lazy that whereas Wizard was a completely different colour, alright, sure, it was a palette swap, fine. But with Beast, they literally just changed the cape on his shoulder. That was so lazy. And then, you got his hyperform. I thought, it's a nice little upgrade. Nothing to rave about. I mean, you hated it. I mean, it's nothing to rave about, but I thought it was a little upgrade for him.
It's just like, what do you call it? You just slap on like very glossy blue and kept the gold.
Yeah, just throw a bit of blue paint on him. Kids will buy the new toy, whatever. But I thought it was a nice little upgrade. It didn't need. It's not the best upgrade. It's not profound. It's not neat. But it's just like a nice little upgrade for Beast, I guess.
What did you think of the annoying dice stuff?
Oh, oh yeah. And I think that was associated with Buffalo, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, or was it all of them? Anyway.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. All right. It's irrelevant to me. I mean, of course, you're talking about that. You look at Kamen Rider Drive at the moment. He's got that Vegas wheel on him, so they must have liked some aspect of it.
No, but with me, Vegas works better as a novelty form than this stupid dice stuff, and that you smack it, and then if you get one, you get one petty animal summoned. Whereas if you get six, you get six spirit animals. Yeah, so it's like a hit or miss, and I'm like, what? Why?
But that's where it comes from. Right, shall we move on? And again, this is, I think, nothing about this show's quick. I'm going to start this. You got the vehicles and whatever the hell they've been riding. I mean, I liked how they mixed the motorbike for Wizard. Like they had Wizard on his motorbike a fair bit at the beginning, not so much afterwards. And then they sort of folded the bike onto the dragon, but I think mainly you had like Wizard riding his dragon, and you had Beast riding Chimera. I thought that was a bit generic, a bit overdone.
Okay.
But it's been done a million times before. But I liked how you had Wizard on his bike.
Right. What I like is I like the fact that I'll rephrase that. I felt that his dragon bike, let's start with that. His regular bike fused with Drago, I thought was it felt like Kiva. Like when it got the boosters on, kind of like splice on kind of thing. I thought it was like that. His regular bike, for someone that of the aesthetic as Wizard, I honestly thought would have been better with Kiva's cruiser.
Okay.
If you see what I get, that the red cruiser stuff, I honestly would have preferred that than a sports bike for someone who's wearing a trench coat. That's just my personal opinion, that I don't think a sports bike suited him. That looks like the Den Bird with a bit more red, or a bit more red to it. I just, for some reason, I didn't think the bike suited the actual show, which is a shame. Normally, I don't nitpick like that. I just like the show as a whole, but seeing as we are nitpicking, that's my gripe. That in regards to the bike, I don't think it fit. Like, okay, as an example, you have Double. You have Kamen Rider Double. Just a quick example, right? You got them with a very sleek, but no trench coat or whatever. Yes, they have a scarf, fine, but they have this it's like a sports bike, but more of a bulky sports bike, but it works for them. The color works for them. The bike is colored for them. This is almost a pure white sports slim dirt bike that I did not understand why. That's my gripe. Me personally, no.
There's no reason, but I just like the fact that it was there.
I see, again, that's the problem. There wasn't a reason. I would have preferred, Decade had a cruiser, Kiva had a cruiser. Why couldn't Wizard have a cruiser? It would have made more sense if he had a fucking cruiser.
No, I think the dirt bike was fine.
I don't agree. See, this is where I do.
Made for more action scenes on the bike, don't forget, because again, you saw Kiba on his cruiser, his Harley Davidson style, but he wasn't doing like the kick-ass stuff that Wizard was. I mean, I think they utilised the Dublin guy, to be fair, but I think Wizard was a good it was a good sort of starting block for what they then eventually did in Gaim. And I've got no gripes with it, but it was there. I just like the fact that it was there. And I think assuming that you've finished, we can even then use that to move on to the next topic, which is choreography. Now, they did use a lot of the bike for choreography, like he was doing fights on his bike and stuff. I mean, when it comes to the choreography of the series, it was very sleek, but we didn't have it wasn't gritty fighting like we're used to with Toku. But it was very sleek. I mean, I watched the films more recently, and there's just a really nice finesse to the choreography. I mean, it's not necessarily clever, it's not unique, but where they do mix the CGI with the fighting, that makes it unique in itself.
I think your other word sums up better. It was done cleverly. I personally, I don't know about unique, because I didn't see anything. I mean, if we're talking unique, Go Kaiju's unique. That's a whole different kettle of fish. This, however, is clever. I think that clever sums up the choreography, to be honest. The fight scene, it reminded me of his stance, his persona when he henshined and he started fighting was a very, not just that, but it felt like a very Captain Marvelous, a very suave. Do you know what I mean? He had that very exactly that pizzazz, and then when he's just started fighting, he lets the enemy come to him, and then he just does one strike, and then does almost next to nothing. He does a couple more, and then he does some flary finish, and then
in the early episodes, and they did mix it up in the films as well. To be fair, the way that he will, and again, you look at Go Kaiju's final episode in comparison. Just the consistency of how he would keep switching forms for his battle. He'd just pull out another ring, push, bam.
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, it just felt like I'm watching. Huh?
It was clever.
Yeah, it was. I'm not going to deny that. The choreography worked with the style and tone. I love the fact that's how they incorporated the weapon and so on and so forth. I love the fact that sometimes if he needed his bike, he would just go, he'd go, please, and he teleports it. He grabs a big hand of himself, grabs it and brings it here and just dunks it right in front of it. I'm like, what? Awesome. But, or even in the first episode, he forgot where he left his, donuts on top of a lamppost on the freeway. So he summons a portal, grabs it, and then just brings it to him, and he just starts eating. And I'm like, okay, that was random, but yeah, anyway.
Right, moving on to locations and sets of...
No, but choreography as a whole, I love the CGI, I love the whole action sequence. There wasn't anything special, but I liked it as a whole. I'm not gonna whine about that. As the sets and locations are concerned, I didn't think there was anything unique about it as such. I thought there was your very generic, hoo-ha, I've seen that before kind of thing. I felt that. Yeah, that's really... I mean, if anything, there was only the Dark Factory for the enemies, really, that I thought was slightly different, and then the Antique Shop, which I thought was nice of a difference as a change of pace. But
I kind of feel that they went all out in making this, the sort of halfway mark for Neo Heisei. So, they did have the cliche cafe yet antique shop. They did have the other hangout, which was by the donut van, and then I kind of think this set a precedent for Gaim, even just like the dark sets for the villains, sort of cave-esque style places they were hanging out in. I think they used where you had Gaim, Bravo's introduction under the bridge. I think they used that in Wizard as well.
Beast, yeah.
And yeah. So I liked how they had a few of the I mean, you can call it cliche if you want, but where they had a lot of the staples of Kamen Rider was really evident in their sets and locations.
Fair enough. It's just, yeah.
Let's move on, and I think this will be me more talking.
Yeah,
Films,
yeah, it's all you.
huh?
It's all you. So starting off with the Hyper Battle DVD.
No. Right, let me see. Because you had the Hyper Battle DVD, you then had the Net films, and then you've got Magic Land. I mean, there's Four's Cross game, no, Four's Cross Wizard, which I haven't seen, but Wizard Cross game I have.
And then didn't Wizard also do one of the superhero Tyson?
Yeah, he was in the first Tyson film. Was he in the second? No, I don't think he was in the second. Well, he might have been, but I forgot. Anyway, I don't know what order I'm going to do this in. Hyper Battle DVD was probably the first thing I saw. This is basically, right, I mean, you've not seen it. This is basically where you've got the transvestite donut shop man, basically falls to despair, so he has to do the ring thing on donut shop owner. And it was a bit bizarre because, like, donut shop transvestite was, oh, I have all these ambitions, I want to achieve all my ambitions, and they did some crazy dance routine and stuff because one of the ambitions was to be a successful dance instructor or something. And it was quite fun to watch. Nothing serious, nothing to shout home about. Now the Net movies, these were sort of like a run-up to Magic Land because it was called Magica Land. They basically had like its spin-off stories. One of them was Deca Wizard, which was basically being in Magic Land. All the Kamen Riders are detectives, and you got like Detective Woman, fan service knocking around, though she was acting a bit weird to be fair. They had some interesting stories. They brought back this one Kamen Rider who was very well known for having blown himself up or something. And you had Kamen Rider Ichigo being called Boss. I thought that was quite cool. I liked how the characters mixed with each other. And then as well, moving on from that, whatever the name of Doll Girl was, she had her own little series of Net movies. And this was where she had her own like crystal ball. She'd have people come in to ask for advice, kind of like how the Tyson Net movies were. People would come in and say, I've got a problem, and then she'd sort of look into her crystal ball, which was a bit weird, and then she'd do some crazy shit to solve their problems. What other Net move? Then there was like this weird thing with Medusa where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this Kamen Rider, and then like all these other different Kamen Riders from different series would appear, and she'd just confuse all the Kamen Riders together. Magi Mother even made an appearance. Anyway, and then I think there was one more. I can't remember. Those are the Net movies I remember. Now, Magic Land was the last film I watched. I really liked it. We talked about Final Forms earlier. You did have Infinity Dragon Super Duper turn up. I thought the story was somewhat clever in that, it starts off with some guy saying, oh, I'm going to make the world magic. But really it was their attempt to bring more phantoms to the world by having people be consumed with magic. And it was quite, there was a lot of clever twists in the film. I think compared to the Heisei era, which had very dismal films, and if people don't like Kamen Rider films because of the Heisei era, they should give Kamen Rider in Magic Land a go. Bearing in mind, Gaim's film was the World Cup thing. That was pretty, it was a bit meh, or whatever I said about Gaim film at the time. But the Wizard film was actually really good. The choreography was good. The viz effects or CGI, whatever you want to call it, that was really good. And I liked how everyone turned on Wizard. that was quite funky.
What did you think
Yeah,
of? What do you think of what's it? Kamen Rider Sorcerer as being stapled as the oldest actor to become a official Masked Rider.
I liked him. He was very villainous. He was very villainous because he did. And again, this is a massive spoiler alert. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do a spoiler. I'm not going to do a spoiler. But in case anyone's going to watch it, I will say what. Yeah, I'll even say to you, Mr. Kamen Rider Bushido, go watch Magic Land. It's a really good film. I mean, all right, it's a bit cliche. It's probably predictable, if I'm honest. It is predictable. I think they make it predictable on purpose, to be fair. But they do have, there is like a big obvious twist to the story. But there are a lot of smaller, there's, again, the devil's in the detail for the film. There's a lot of smaller twists that make it that make it a good film. It was a good final battle, not just when he gets Infinity Dragon, Super Duper, whatever. And yeah, there was a lot of good in the film. Now, I have seen Wizard Cross Gaim. I think I think I reviewed this in the Gaim review, but
Just sum it up.
Wizard Cross Gaim. It was a very clever film. It did, and again, where it's just like, oh my god, let the doll girl go. I think they kind of did he kind of did in the end. I mean, I like how the film sort of went on. I mean, if you remember the finale from Gaim, not Gaim, the finale from Wizard. He sort of, where he sort of goes around the world. They sort of brought, that was his intro to Wizard Cross Gaim. Was he was in Europe somewhere? I don't know. I think it was in the UK or something. So I thought that was a nice touch. Story in Wizard Cross Gaim for Wizard anyway was it was quite sound. It was legit. And then but then it was only when it got into the whole. Oh, each Kamen Rider has their own Sigoku tribe or something, their own samurai tribe or whatever. That got a bit surreal, but it was meant to be, so it's fair enough. The Tyson film, I'm not going to lie, it's been years since I've seen the Tyson film, the very first Tyson film. Alright, just coming back to Wizard Cross Gaim, he had a really awesome finisher with Gaim, but coming to Tyson, again, he was so massively downplayed because because when you look at superhero Tyson, it was all about Decade versus Gokaiger. They might as well have just called it Decade versus Gokaiger. But you did have Wizard in it, and you also had the Go Busters in it, which I know you love. So you do, I do kind of feel that they really downplayed Wizard. He could have had a much bigger role, but he just didn't. And there's nothing more I can say to that. Right, I believe that is all the movies and stuff covered. So, what did we think of the end of Wizard, and what did we think of it as a whole?
Right, so the end, I love where the story went. I love the whole how can I say, the whole, not just the morale, but the story where it actually led to, which I'm just repeating myself, but I haven't seen anything like it. That's why I like it. What I could not give a tosh about was when they incorporated those 3 additional unofficial wizards with the rings from the movie. Exactly. That just pissed me off so much when they incorporated that right at the end, the final fight. If they didn't do that, I would have enjoyed it more. But at the time, the fact that it was still there, I was so pissed off. But otherwise,
Wizard was still airing. We discussed about how I disliked that. So yeah.
But regardless, I love that where the story led to. Yeah, it was long to get to there, but I liked it as a whole. Would I recommend it only to those that probably? I wouldn't call this as a first timer. I'd say if you're a fan of Master Riders, then do this one. It's something completely different because it's unique on its own. I'd say. Um, yep. Unless if you'd like, or I'll be fair, if you'd like Magi Ranger, watch this.
See, I think that's irrelevant whether you like Majoranga or not. I will go out on a limb. Well, I'm going to do this in reverse order. I'm going to go out and say this is actually, even though it's not necessarily, it might be my top five. It might be my top five favorite comedies somewhere. But I will go out on a limb and say it's actually a really good series to begin watching. I mean, I started on Deno, which was really good.
Begin with.
Yeah, my very first Kamen Rider was Deno, which was to begin with.
No.
Kiba to begin with, I'd recommend Kiba. If someone wanted to start with Wizard, I would say, yeah, go on, start with Wizard. I would say this is a very good Kamen Rider to begin with, even though there's loads of other crap and stuff that they miss. It's still a very good Kamen Rider to begin with.
See, story premise-wise, I think Kiva's better to begin with.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, if you really think hard enough, you'll probably say, this is the perfect Kamen Rider series to begin with. I'm just saying in general, I think it's a good series to start with. If someone's like, oh, I'm going to start with Wizard, I'll be like, oh, that's really good. So, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Wizard beginning to end. Well, that's a fat lie. I really liked it. I really liked the series throughout, and I think we're going to disagree on this, but I do kind of feel that they rushed the end. Now,
I can see that. I can see the rushed end. I can see the rushed end.
You see yourself, but I'll say one thing that really really ground my gears, as Peter Griffin would say, is how you got Wizard, who's unique, and then the other three riders who were to complement his power were just generic. They just had the gem in their helmet changed. I mean, for the film Magic Land, they did that, and that's fine because you can't recreate that suit for like 20 dozen support characters. But bearing in mind, these were meant to be three characters that were meant to have a pivotal role in the finale. They could have been like, alright, Beast had his own thing going on. But even so, what if these four riders came from White Mage?
Not just that, they had the claws, remember? The stupid claws.
He should have done something where, they could have given, like, unique forms. And just to touch on something that I completely forgot when I reviewed the Net movies, the other one that I missed out was they actually gave Pui Pui Boy, they made him, the main rider. And, that was funny and, it was a bit goofy and funny, etc. Now that
I forgot one. I forgot a rider. Opinion on White Mage.
Again, we've been talking about White Mage all along. He's a bit of a psycho, really.
No, I meant in the appearance. The appearance of Kamen Rider Mage.
Yeah, Kamen Rider Mage, he looked really nice. You kind of thought he was a good guy, but really he was a bad guy because he was a bad guy all along. He was the main villain. He had nice rings. His belt was really rude. Teleport now. It's like, all right, calm down. But yeah, I like White Mage. Anyway, so you can tell your opinion on White Mage in a minute. Coming back to like the finale, sort of leading up, I kind of felt that. Yeah, I mean, for starters, they really shouldn't have done that with the additional three riders. One of them could have looked like that. Then the other two should look completely different. Not have three of the same. What were they thinking? And then, the fact, I liked how it all revolved around. I'm really irritated. I can't remember her name. Doll Girl. Something about a swing in there in front of a lake or something. And then it's like, you know, the finale was, I'm going to make a second eclipse so I can bring my daughter back to life. I'm pretty sure I saw that in an episode of Magi Ranger or something. You know, I've seen it in an episode of I've seen it in an episode of Sentai. I just can't remember which one. Where it's like, oh, you know, I'm doing this because the needs of this one person is better than having, you know, these fools around the rest of the country. It's like, no, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's what it was teaching. You know, I've seen this done. I've seen this covered in a single episode, an ordinary episode of Sentai, but they just made it this big climax to the story. Is that no, the needs of the many outweigh the. I mean, yes, I know I'm quoting this from Star Trek, but whatever. You know, this has been an episode. This has been a story that's been covered in a single episode, a single ordinary episode of Sentai. They decided to make this the finale.
It's true that they did use it in an episode of Magi Ranger when they bring in Magic Shine, and the guy was trying to create a giant magic circle to sacrifice those that are within it for the main boss.
Anyway, but this is what I'm saying. I know it's not just Magic Ranger. I know I've seen it a few times in Sentai. I just can't remember how many or if it was that often. But they just could have done something a little better. They could have planned it a bit better. And I think the fact that they dragged on the Doll Girl story into everything else really comes through in that, because they just didn't do it properly. They rushed it. And yeah, so I kind of felt that the end really let Wizard down. Sorry, I'm getting hiccups.
But with saying that though, because you say it lets it down, can you still recommend it as a first timer?
Yeah, no, I'll still say. And then when they're disappointed by the end, it's like, well, shit happens. You know, there's worse Kamen Riders out there. Go look for them.
That's simple. It's just called Hibiki. Whoops, I just said out loud.
Yeah. I'll just say, you know, the end lets it down, but I don't think the end was ruined. I just think it could have been done a lot better, and it was still a disappointing ending. But it is what it is, I guess. You can't have it all. It was still a really good series, and I'd still recommend it as a starter.
I can see that. Yes, so I guess that's that then. Not that, you know, Flayvaman gives a shit about my opinion on, White Mage, but oh well, who cares? No, too late. Sorry, I thought it was cool anyways, that's about it. Anyway, so that has been our review from Kamen Rider Wizard, and as per usual, join us next time. As always, I've been Master Rider Bushido, and he's been my Toku Bros on the other side of Earth, which is Flayvaman!
Alright, see you. I'm Fish Reader Cam.
So as always, Bazooka!
Alright, ciao for now.